Boom! We're back.
Yep.
Hi, Mr. Johnson.
Here, let me slice off a piece of ham for Larry's recipe today.
Can you believe this? We haven't been on 15 seconds, and he's already carving on me with a knife.
Well, absolutely. I could take off a few inches in the here, and, well...
Enough already.
You know, people have been sending us a lot of stuff.
Oh, they have been sending us a lot of stuff. In fact, I have a gift here for you. It has your name right on it. And this lady from Pennsylvania has sent you a bunch of Christmas stuff, even though it's not Christmas anymore, but it's real pretty.
Nice.
All sorts of pretty fine things. Isn't that just gorgeous? Lovely. She didn't make a bit of it herself, but she went out and bought it herself.
That's sweet.
Nice little thing to hang around your whatever there, and you know.
We've had some people in Philadelphia, we were in Philadelphia recently, sent us a new can opener, which I have yet to master, and a jar opener. This one is really swell, because you kind of pop the vacuum seal with this and then undo it. And then, of course, we have these representations done on somebody's computer of Larry and I. There is... oh, that's me.
Laban. The picture of his head is so old he didn't even recognize himself. That's when you had about 40 pounds of hair. And of course, that does actually look like I currently do. Well, you know, I've been working out for the last year. It's not quite that good, but...
And it isn't working out.
Dillard Childress can tell you that I look pretty much like that. He goes same gym I go to. He can tell you when I'm... come out here, Doris. I hate to bring Doris in too early because, well, you know. But, you know, we were in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania a couple of months ago, and the people up there probably wanted to know more where Doris and Harold were than where we were, I think. So anyway, some people brought this bunch of stuff for you, a little gift pack here. I don't know, some kind of little doll baby or something. You may want to open that. That's just for you, and I want you to know that I carried that through the airport, through 3 or 4 airports for you. And
well, I guess it's supposed to be like a little witch.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that cute?
I guess. I don't know what it's supposed to be. But I got to tell you, this
tell him thank you.
Laban can tell you this is a true story. I came back with so much stuff in my bag, bottles of stuff, and that it's the first time, this is a true story, they pulled me aside and says, can we go through your bags? And I had to stand there while they tore out the doll babies. And so anyway, thank you. And thanks a lot, and come back.
They didn't bother me. Anyway. I don't look suspicious.
And nor was he carrying anything. So anyway, what we're doing today are...
No, we don't know yet.
Well, we don't know what we're doing today,
The witch has got to come tell us. Point.
What we're doing is calling the witch in.
All right, let's see what the... Dear guys, here's the deal. Albert had been hunting and shot a very large deer with umpteen points. In his excitement on the way home, he hit a pig in the road and crashed into a farmer's chicken coop. Our question is, what can you do with chicken, ham, and venison? We need cheap recipes because our car insurance has just tripled in cost. Thanks, Albert and Doreen Dodge from Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania, one of my favorite towns. I'm going to do the unnamed casserole from Philly, sent in by the Evans family of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. A good bunch of the Evans family.
And Linda Watson of Philadelphia sent in this recipe for square baked chicken and cabbage.
And I think that we have the lovely Miss Thing coming in with some venison after a while, I believe so. You know, Laban, this is our 18th season. 18 years of doing the same show. It's just amazing, it really is, and we're still just as excited as ever.
Yeah.
But we have had some requests from some of the younger audience that while they enjoy the show, they feel like we really just don't have enough special effects on the program, lots of glitz and effects and noise and sounds. So this year, I've brought some handy-dandy... Is it wonderful? Isn't that frightening, boys and girls? That's as good as it gets right there. Jim Hammerstrom. It's frightening, scary. So there you go, special effects. Well, I mean, it's cooking cheap. It's cheap special effects.
I remember when that one was walking around.
Perhaps I'll be doing the recipe wearing this. It's rubber or something.
There
we go.
Fat hands.
So anyway.
All right. I've got so much slicing and chopping to do.
But don't you always?
Why don't you just go on and you start, and I'll catch up with you in a minute.
Okay, we got a pan over here on the stove, and the first thing you're going to do is take a couple of tablespoons of margarine or butter and throw it in there, because we're going to make your stuffing in there. By the way, now, if you have, this would be a great recipe to do around Thanksgiving time if you have a bunch of stuffing left over and everybody's sick of it and you don't know what to do. Well, what you do is you'll stuff a ham with it. Use the stuffing you've already got. I would make it up from scratch, because I make a fabulous stuffing, although not nearly as good as yours.
Oh, thank you.
Of course, I haven't tasted his in years, because he stopped having us over for Thanksgiving. But anyway, now the first thing you got to do is slice up about 6 ham slices, and I got a pre-cooked, pre-baked job, and it's not cheap. So the first thing, it says slice the slices a little bit thicker than you would for a sandwich. So that's, but you don't want it too thick, because you've got to be able to roll it like so. Actually, like so. That's too thick. Better try another one. I'm going to take it out of the pack. But anyway, the first thing you do is heat up some margarine. We're going to do it with some stovetop stuffing today, just to be quick on TV, but you can do it with your own stuffing at home if you want to. I'm going to slice that just a little bit thinner, I think, because I need to be able to roll this around the stuffing after a while. So that's all I'm going to do for the moment. And now back to you, Laban.
All right. I have just sliced 2 mushrooms. That's all, just 2. A half a carrot and a half a stalk of celery, or rib of celery is, I guess, the correct term. And I need of a medium-sized onion that is sliced. And this is going to be, I'm just going to do half of this one, because I don't think we need it all. This is a juicy dish. It makes a big mess, and don't try to carry it to a buffet dinner, because it's just too sloppy. But it looks good. We'll see.
What is it?
It's a chicken leg dish. What you get an 8x8 pan, and you fit chicken legs in it, and I've got 7 in this one. And you put those in, and then we're going to sprinkle the carrots and the mushrooms over top of everything, and the celery.
I just threw that big leftover piece of ham at Miss Doris, and it landed with a thud.
Oh.
She's gone off to take care of her hand. And, of course, we do have some people standing by to give her some assistance.
Yes.
So, anyway.
I didn't know she called Harold a ham these days. All right, anyway, you layer your stuff. Now I'm putting on the celery. And finally, you need some cabbage, and you just shred it like you would do for coleslaw. And the recipe calls for a half a cabbage, but you don't really need that much. I don't know what you, but that's just, all right, I'm going to go back through and cut this a little bit, chop it some.
I got to put some water in with our margarine, about 1 1/4 cup. And I'm going to make the stuffing right now. And what you do is you bring all that to a boil, and when it's, you put your seasoning packet in and bring it to a boil. That's what you do. Make it I've never made, I know this is a funny thing, but I've never made stovetop before. I always make mine from scratch.
Well, I do too.
I do, and I don't do it that often, because if I ate stuffing every day,
well, the stuffing would be showing.
They'd be able to paint a sign on the side of me and rent me out, much like that friend we have who works in the billboard business. But anyway, I'm going to put that in there. I've got to bring that to a little bit of a boil, and then we'll put the rest of the stuff in a couple of minutes and make our stuffing. Now, what I've done over here is I've gone on ahead and I've sliced these fairly so that I could at least roll them. You take a look at it. There we go. We'll be able to roll them. And what we'll do is put them into a nice baking dish here in a couple of minutes. Meantime, you have your choice of either some sort of cream of mushroom or cream of celery soup. I have chosen mushroom for this one and celery for the one that's actually in the oven that we're going to eat at the end of this program if we behave ourselves and we're lucky. And I have to add a can of milk to that and mix that thoroughly with a whisk, and that's what I'm going to do right now.
Could I have a bowl, Doris? Bigger than that, but not a
Have
whole
that ready to go. That's going to be poured on top of it here in just a little while, and that's what your ham is going to bake in. Well, I'm ready to go home.
Well,
oh, no, I haven't finished yet. Okay, I'm sorry. That's just my mind. I'm just not back into it again.
we're not.
You know?
We're out of practice.
We really are.
We're not ashamed of admitting it.
We're at that terrible portion of the program where I'm waiting for something to boil, and there's nothing I can do about it. So you'll just have to hang in there.
Thank you so much. All right, now, on mine, you have to sprinkle on, oh dear, all of these spices, about a teaspoon of sugar. So there's a teaspoon of sugar.
Why?
Who knows?
Well, that's the strangest thing.
Well, it is. A little.
This
A
is
little.
on.
A little. Some garlic powder.
I should have had this stuff heating up a while ago. Why am I goofy doing this right now, waiting for it to do
All
something?
right. Some cayenne pepper, some red hot pepper.
Is this like the end of your recipe that you're performing here?
Oh, no.
Good. And now Doris and Harold will come in and sing.
Uh-huh. You know, Doris and Harold just got back from Iceland.
I got a card from them today, and it says we're having a great time in Iceland, but she's here in the studio today. I can't figure this out. I don't understand.
Well, when the hell I got my card from her last week, but it was still took a right good little while.
It was still cold when I got my hands on it, the card was.
One time, first time I ever left the country, and I was in the Austrian Alps, and I mailed my mama a postcard on the 4th of July, and she got it in the by Christmas.
Is that so?
Took that long, yep. Mail is very slow.
Well, mail used to be a lot faster then than it is now.
That's poultry seasoning I just put on.
Poultry seasoning.
Yep. And I think that's all that I have to be sprinkling on there. Now I've got to make a sauce. So you want to go ahead and do something while
Oh, thank heavens, this stuff is boiling. Can't tell you. Now, now that this has boiled, what you do is you add your little stuffing part and fluff it around, and then you let it set for a few minutes. Take it off the heat and let it set for a few minutes. Try to keep up there a little bit, upstairs there. You know, Andre's a little out of practice. He's going to come down here and smack me in a minute.
Oh.
So anyway, we've got to let that set up just a couple of seconds. Can't deal with that right now. It's got to set up, okay? So there it is, setting up. Well, I mean, that's all it's got to,
Yeah.
just got to sit there for a second. I can't hurry this.
Well, I need a half a can of cream of chicken soup, and put it in. I'm telling you, I am spilling stuff.
Looks
Part
like
of
they
it
got
is-
looks like they got a new bucket.
I can't see. I'm blind. I've been at the eye doctor today. A half a can of soup.
Is
and-
there anything that you haven't had operated on in the last 6 months?
Yes,
Oh.
but it's none of your business. This recipe calls for a half a cup of soy sauce, but I'm not putting that much in it because I think it's too much. It'll ruin you. Get that puppet out of here. Over 30 years ago, I started working in this place
With this very puppet.
With a puppet. I don't want to do it again. Don't ever work with a puppet that will upstage you. Now I've just got to...
I'm having a good time.
Of course, Doris gave you the whisk.
Well, I have it.
No, that's all right.
It's back in the sink. I don't think I'd want it. If it's back in the sink, I don't think
I
I'd be
don't know
touching
what
it.
they do back here while we're not here.
Okay, now I'm ready for a little assemblage.
Well, good.
A little assemblage. Take just a little bit of this, and I decided that you can't take much more than a tablespoonful of it. And you're going to do the hokey pokey. No, that's not what you're going to do. What you're going to do is you're going to roll this.
The hokey pokey.
Roll another one. There it goes. It would be nice if I had some toothpicks. Do you have any toothpicks, Doris? Do we have any toothpicks? Are there any toothpicks in the house? It's going to unroll. See what's going to happen?
I saw some. Wait a minute. There's some over here.
It would be nice if you had a tooth. Oh, toothpicks are coming from everywhere. The toothpick capital of the world, ladies and gentlemen, Roanoke, Virginia.
Here's some colored ones.
No, I don't want colored ones. And I'm only going to use them temporarily because I don't want this thing to open up and fly all over the place and put someone's eye out until I'm ready for it to go. I'll pick all those out in a little bit. But right now, until I get all 6 of these in there, well, for heaven's sake. There we go. So anyway, I'm going to do that. There seems to be a lot of mumbling here in the studio. What's going on?
Everybody's just amazed at how goofy all this is.
Yeah, well, it is a right stupid program. Go ahead. What do you got?
Well, I thought I'd read this letter that came in from J. Clark, or Chark.
Well, what is it?
Well, and I don't know where Jay is from. Bristol, Tennessee, says,
well, there you go, right there.
To Larry and Laban, it is a shame the way you two old men talk to Doris Ford on that show. You two are disgusting. You don't have the right person helping you, because if that was me, there would be no cooking cheap, because they would fire us all. P.S. She has feelings, too, and mean people can do things that hurt. My heart goes out to her. Can't you be a little nicer to her? She is the heart of the show. She's the nudge of the show. Bring her in here.
Come in here, Doris.
She's the one with all of the...
Well, now, I just think that's a pitiful letter. Did you give that guy's name?
Yes.
Oh, well, why'd you do that? Now I can't say what I wanted to say. I'm sure that he's a well-intentioned person, but we love Doris. We really do love Doris, and Doris is nothing without me. Hang on a second. Doris is nothing without me because she doesn't have a mic.
That's true.
Now you can talk.
and I know that you guys are just kidding.
We are.
Right. Okay.
What are you doing?
Me?
You didn't bring some deer meat.
Yeah,
down here,
Laban told me. He said I had 3 weeks to do it in. Whoa,
well,
I think.
I hope you're happy. She's just burned a hole, ladies and gentlemen, in her fine little... That's just real attractive.
Is this platter going to burn?
And there it is, right on top of the stove. Startling overhead shot, ladies and gentlemen. There it is. Gee, it was a good notebook.
This was expensive, too. I searched all over for this about 3 years ago.
Oh, and the aroma. Oh, burning plastic. There's
Would you
nothing
hold
like
this while I finish that? Go ahead.
Now don't put it back down on it again.
I had to do a venison roast, and I've got 3 to 4 pound venison, which I browned in flour, and then
Hold your mic up there, darling. We can't hear you with it sticking out here.
Let me get that out. And you brown it in flour and a little olive oil, and then I add some chopped onion, a garlic chopped, and I mix together a ½ a cup of dry mustard, 1 teaspoon paprika, 1 bay leaf, 4 peppercorns, 1½ teaspoon salt, a 1/4 teaspoon pepper, a 1/3 cup of vinegar, 1 15-ounce can of tomato sauce, and 1 cup of white wine. If you don't like using white wine, you could use either beef broth or chicken broth or something like that. And it's sort of like a barbecue. And it's got a nice gravy to it that you can use for rice or noodles or even mashed potatoes or something like that.
Well, it looks real pretty.
So I get, and then I cook it in the oven. I bake mine in the oven. You can do it on the top of the stove if you like, and it takes about 3 to 4 hours depending on the age of your venison. Mm-hmm. So you have to sort of judge on that one.
Now, you have to ask the deer how old it is before you shoot it.
I don't know if it tells by teeth
Put that
or what.
up. This goes to your mouth. Tell us about. Did you and Harold enjoy your trip?
Yeah, we really
to Iceland?
did.
Is
yeah,
that where you went?
We went to Iceland for Christmas to get to the snow and
Do you
whatever.
have any slides?
There was no snow. There was no ice. There was no ice.
Is that so?
They
No
had
ice in Iceland?
No ice. They had an abnormally warm winter.
I'm glad that you had a nice vacation, though, because you know how much we love you, Doris.
And you wished I stayed there.
And no, don't you? See, you're causing that man's going to give me a hard time again. Okay, I got to do something here. Here we go. I'm going to take the toothpicks out here. Bye, Doris. I'm going to, and Doris, we love you. We really do.
You're going to find me a new thing?
What you do now is you take your soup, and you pour that over. See, you've got all these rolled up, about 6 of them, in a real nice, Doris has picked out a real nice pan for this to bake it. And you put your soup over top of that, and you put it in the oven, and you bake it at 350 degrees for 20 minutes. Got one in the oven. I'm going to have to get it out right now.
All right.
You got something else to do?
Oh, yeah, I'm not finished yet.
Well, you better be finished
All
in
right.
3 minutes.
This is a sauce made with a half a can, go figure, a half a can of cream of chicken soup, a half a cup of soy sauce, which is way too much, and a couple of cups of water. And I'm just going to pour this over all of this, and then you bake it at 375 for about 45 minutes or so, or until the chicken is tender. Now let me pour
I'm
some more.
sweating like a pig here. I got this stuff out of the oven. This is what it looks like when it comes out of the oven. It looks pretty much like it did when it went in the
no.
oven. Oh, wait a minute. We don't want to miss this.
Oh,
Startling overhead of Laban's area.
Daggone it. What else is going to go wrong? I'm giving up. What a mess.
What did you dump that in there for?
Well, the recipe called for it. And the one I made yesterday accepted 2 cups of... This is a mess, ladies and gentlemen.
I need something
And
to
you
get that
seal
out
it
of
up
there
with aluminum foil, and that's it.
Well, I
What a
think,
mess.
is that all of it?
Yeah, that's it.
Well, that's so attractive, Laban. Just dripping. Oh, the recipes. Oh, yeah. I named casserole from Philly, 6 boiled ham slices, a little thicker than for sandwiches. Some stovetop stuffing, or use stuffing at Thanksgiving if you got it. A can of cream soup, either mushroom or celery, and a half a can of milk, which you use in the soup can, and that's it.
And the square baked chicken and cabbage, you need 1.5 pounds of chicken legs, a half a head of cabbage shredded, 1 medium onion sliced, 1/2 carrot sliced, 1 half rib of celery sliced, 2 mushrooms trimmed and sliced, a half a cup, way too much, of soy sauce, 3 to 5 cups of water, 1/2 can cream of chicken soup, cayenne pepper, garlic powder, poultry seasoning, and sugar.
Well, we got to get over here and get to it.
Well, I want to see if I can get mine.
I'm
out
trying to
the
get
oven.
this rubber off of the that she has put all over. Look at that, all over my fine eye. It's just the biggest mess, I'll swear. But we love her, you know, we love her, even though she does stuff like that once in a while. We all make mistakes, goodness knows.
Now, is there a trivet I can put this on? Look at Doris running. I love to watch her when she does
We
things.
can't get it to the table. Let's
There she
all run
goes.
to the table at the same time.
Oh,
That's close enough, Johnson. If you got it on the table, it's close enough for me.
well, I'm so glad. You're so affable and easygoing
You know,
today.
I really am.
You know, we got to mark these tables and chairs. I almost knocked that pig off again.
I hope that your doctor doesn't see you gnawing on that.
Oh, I do too, because...
And here, let me get you some of this fine venison. Big old piece of it over here. Just look at that. It's so tender. Look at that. That is gorgeous.
Uh-huh.
That really is gorgeous. I'm going to eat. I'm telling you, I'm full. Now, let me take
All right,
some of this
let me have
ham
your
rolled
plate,
up.
and I'll give you a leg.
Well, it's real pretty. It looks like it's just running all over the place. Now, what is this chicken that you've done here with some sort of soy sauce
And it's
on it?
supposed to be served with the juice and everything over
Well, Laban, it's like rubber.
well, I told you, there's too much.
It's like rubber.
Well, I can't even find a place to get into it to cut.
It won't cut.
Bad knives.
But it has a real nice flavor.
Well, good. Well,
I'm going to try my little ham thing. How bad could it be? I mean, it's got dressing
Well-
and ham. What can you do to that?
plenty.
And a little bit of soup. It tastes real good. I like that. Very nice.
Not bad.
Well, and we've got the venison, and it's all real nice. Little, it's a shame that you just kind of got that wadded up so nobody
Well,
can
it's-
see any of it, but it's stuck to it. It's just terrible.
venison-
Excuse me.
It's really good.
Isn't it, though? It really is. Well, that's about it. I don't imagine there's much more we could do on
Well-
this program. We'll be back to do it right next week. Thanks for coming by. Well, Johnson.
Everything we do,
Johnson,
we
I see that the neighbors are at it again.
yeah, we got the neighbors on this side and
It's
Doris on the
just
other.
terrible. These neighbors we have. I mean, can you believe it?
Well, you know.
You remember when we used to open this up
Yes.
and Miss Carol would have a lovely scene in here on this
cows.
chroma key blue? The miracle of television, ladies and gentlemen. She's back there somewhere. Miss Carol is right behind here. It's true.
Yeah, she is. She
Do you hear
can
that?
through the slants. Uh-huh.
Hey, what are we doing? Oh,
This is Cookin Chief.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I'm Laban Johnson.
thought
and
this
you're
was-
somebody.
I thought this was
That came in off the street.
that army show that they were doing. Well, bring in the witch and
Yeah.
let's see what we're going to do here.
Let's see. Here she comes flying.
She did a
getting
fly
better.
around on you. Sometimes just smacks you upside the head.
Actually, why don't you read it?
Oh, no.
It's your
It's
turn.
never good news when I have to read the letter. We have some visitors from Philadelphia.
Oh, I'm glad.
Are you from Philly, actually, or near Philly? Yeah, you can talk. It's that kind of show. Dear Laban and it's true, they're all the way down here. Of
Well,
course,
that's
one of them's here for something else. But
Oh, well,
anyway.
you know.
We're having a fight around here and hope you can settle it. The question is, what is a pound cake? I think it has to do with the fact that the cake is so rich that you'll put on pounds if you eat it. Muffy says any cake that weighs a pound is a pound cake. Who's right? Please let us know as soon as you can before we start pounding each other. Willie Frank Tort, Sugar, Tennessee. Well, have you got the answer to that, Miss Johnson?
Yes. A pound cake is neither of those two things. It
Stupid
was
letter.
originally made with a pound of butter, a pound of flour, and a pound of sugar.
Is that so?
Yes, that's right.
Mr. Johnson has come through with
And that's
a
where
lesson for all of
and
you.
a pound of eggs. So that's where the pound cake came from. And that recipe is an old one. It is a great one, and it's death for people like me.
Oh, Dad, let me tell you something. I'm doing a traditional pound cake, and you can't get this out of a box, and there's a reason. Because they have never figured out how to get 6 eggs and 3 sticks of butter in one of those packages, I don't believe. And that's what this takes. This is a killer. Sent in by Christina Farai of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Good neck of the woods up there.
Well, Betty Klecknick's,
Oh, come on, you made that.
I did not, Klecknick's
Kletniks.
of Christiansburg,
Who has a
Virginia.
terrible cold.
She got a bad cold today, and it's wheezing real bad, so we're doing the cake for her. Has sent in a recipe for a sour cream pound cake, and I told Doris, one of the few times you can tell Doris anything. She usually is telling us, but I told Doris, I said, why don't you do the recipe that Betty sent in, or Carolyn rather, Carolyn sent in,
See this.
and I'll try to do the same recipe using things, you know, so a diabetic or somebody with heart problems like I have could possibly eat a small slice of. So that's what I'm doing. I'm doing the healthier version of the recipe, and Doris is doing the
Hokey pokey.
the complete one.
She's doing the hokey
So-
pokey. I want you to see this. I have a real dilemma on my hands today. I have a recipe that requires 6 eggs, and I noticed when I got in here today that you know how I drive.
Uh-huh.
You do know how
Yes,
I
I
drive.
do.
And I
You
took my
should be
Jeep,
on the NASCAR circuit.
I took my Jeep around that corner down there, and some student was coming out of the college, and we just darn near hit each other. And I think that I'm going to have a dickens of a time saving that egg, but I think I have an idea for saving it. So
Well,
We'll
good.
work on it.
All right,
First
well,
thing I have to do is get out the Pam and do a little thing.